Hello, good evening. How are you? My name is Sarah Mutsami. In case you're new here, umekutana na hii link somewhere. I want to welcome each and every one of you, and I want to appreciate you so much for joining the session this evening. It's such a delight to have all of you. I know, like I always say, this is seriously you prioritizing your mental health because there are so many other things that you could be doing. There are so many other places that you could have logged in or other places you could be. But just choosing to be here with us, I mean, it's such an honor. And I want to appreciate you so much for sacrificing your time. And also, I want to appreciate each and every one of you that has been and that have been interacting with this content, whether you've been liking, sharing, commenting, asking questions, whether it's on the on the chat sections or inboxing. I just want to say thank you so much. And my hope is that you're learning. My hope is that each and every day your life is being transformed by these sessions. Otherwise, the sessions are scheduled to be happening every third Friday of the month. But here we are. Msiulize maswali mingi, bora every month we are at it. So yeah, so karibuni. But my advice to you would be please follow us on all our social media platforms, be it uh, be it Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn, here on YouTube, and those who have my WhatsApp number, the WhatsApp, okay? Just follow us so that in case it's not happening on the third Friday, you'll always be aware, okay? Because that's where I post. That's where I post the links. That's where I post the invites, all right? So please, in all the platforms, it's Sarah Mutsami, but on Facebook, it's Sarah Muhadia Mutsami. Kwa sababu mimi na ushamba wangu, in Facebook, I blundered a lot of things. So you'll find so many Sarah Mutsamis, but the Sarah Muhadia Mutsami is the one that I post information on the mental health issues and also the sessions, all right? So otherwise, karibuni. So I just want us to take very few minutes, share this link with your friends, share this link on your WhatsApp status, share this link in your groups, the ones that you're allowed to. Share this link on your on your Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok um, platforms. Please share. Don't be jealous with this information, and then we're going to get right into it. Okay. So please take a minute or so. Take a minute or so and share the link. Share the link. Share the link. You'll just excuse me because yeah, have we? Please invite as many people as possible. And as you're doing that, please do me a favor. Write in the chat section your name so that I may know you're here with me. Please, Aki, please don't ignore this. I beg you guys. Most of the time after we've come from the session, that's when I realized Kumba I had an audience, and I didn't know because of the platform I'm using. I might not really know. So please, could you please let me know if you are logged in, if you can hear me, if you can see me. Please let me know on the chat section. And then also you can go ahead and just share one or two things that you know about mental health. Okay. And among those things that you know about mental health, Which ones have you been putting to action? Do you know why I'm telling you that? Because this session, we are doing it to mark the Mental Health Awareness Month of 2025. It's normally in May, and so today I want to one of my guests, I had seen you. Please come back. Please come back. I'm going to add you on stage. I'm sorry. Multitasking is that thing for me. I had seen you. Please come back. Please come back. Don't think that you had not connected or something. I had seen you. Please come back and I'll add you to stage. Unajijua. Unajijua. Tafadhali rudi. And then I'm going to add you on stage. All right? Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Tuko pamoja. We are together. Now, I was saying we are doing this session to mark the Mental Health Awareness Month of 2025. And this time, I dubbed this session Awareness to Action. That's what I felt we should talk about. You know why? Because I've realized, at least in our generation, the conversation on mental health is coming up. Watu wanajuajua hii maneno. So the unfortunate bit is tunajua and we are doing nothing about it. And there are so many reasons why you might not be actualizing the things to do. Oh, my guests are both here. Welcome, 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 welcome. I'm going to be ending up in a minute and inviting you. So, anywho, I'm saying we know something about mental health. You might not know much. But the little you know, are you actualizing it? Are you doing something about it? And that's why today we dubbed this session Awareness to Action. So we are aware of something to do with mental health, or a lot to do with mental health, but are we doing anything about it? And so today I invited some people who are dear to me, and they're going to be talking about their mental health journey. Okay. If they have been putting to action anything to do with mental health, and why, and how it all started. So without taking any more time, I want to welcome my first guest. His name is John, and I'll let him introduce himself and just go whichever direction he feels comfortable. Let me add him to stage. Yes. He's disappeared, but he'll be back. Or are you here? Yes, I want to add him to stage, and he's going to share his his perspective, his journey, and everything to do with mental health. Okay, so you're in for a ride this evening. John, karibu.
Thank you.
Yes, you can go right ahead. I don't want to take any more time. Oh God, please may this network stabilize. Or maybe you can try joining without the video. We see if it's going to.
Thank you so much, Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know whether you can hear me.
Yes, now we can hear you. We had lost you for some seconds, but now we can hear you. Karibu.
Asante sana. So can I go?
Yes, karibu sana.
Sarah.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I can start. Sarah.
Yes, you can. You can
Okay,
start.
thank you. So
Mm.
okay, so my name is John Mecca. I'm 34 years old, and I'm a recovering polysubstance user. I first heard about mental health the moment I lost my job in 2020. That was in January, and that was from my sister. and I didn't take action the to pursue the mental whatever checkup or wellness, since I associated it with the stigma, uh, the prejudice, and the discrimination that comes with it. Because the moment I had her mention that I need my mental wellness to be checked, I associated it with the major illnesses like the psychosis, schizophrenia, bipolar. So I thought, like, she thinks I'm mad. So I didn't take it so seriously because with my little knowledge, I opted to ignore her, thinking no one can really understand what I was going through. And she couldn't understand the pain of losing a job at such a tender age, unless the victims like myself and that the substances I was using would work appropriately in helping me to process the loss, and or rather numb the feelings, the negative emotions I had. So the mysterious turn of events escalated my situation into major depression disorder. 1 year down, into major depression disorder. So 1 year down the line, when the substance use became the norm, it contributed, uh, and it was contributed by the strike of COVID-19, Sarah, sorry,
Sorry, you had
someone
frozen for a
had
minute.
yeah, yeah.
Ama
So
it's me.
someone had tried calling me, but I've disconnected.
Oh,
No, 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 no.
okay,
Someone
okay,
had tried calling me, but I've disconnected the call.
okay.
So I developed immense self-hatred that lowered my self-esteem. So I just opted to drink myself to death by all means. So this would involve selling my valuables to afford the lifestyle and sustain the habits, ranging from electronics, clothing to domesticated animals, of course. So in 2022, January, which was exactly 2 years down the line, my health had deteriorated, my wife had left, and every other person detached from me since I'd become difficult to relate with. I'm sorry, I'm just using my phone.
It's completely understandable.
Yeah, so
Mm.
yeah, so mentioned that in 2022 January, which was exactly 2 years down the line, my health had deteriorated, my wife had left, and every other person detached from me because I had become difficult to relate with. So this made me lose a ton of weight, give up on myself, stop basic hygiene. But the very sister who had mentioned about mental health came to the picture. I reached out to her and she encouraged me to travel back to the city as she figures out on the next course of action. So 2 weeks after the conversation, I found my way to the city, wet, desperate, and filled up with suicidal thoughts in despair. So, yeah, of course, she led me to Christ. She's a pastor, where I desperately surrendered and and she promised to take me to a Christian rehabilitation center after assessing my situation. So there, I was received by a very nice counselor who actually explained what mental health was, because I thought that was something associated with the major disorders. So I was taken through holistic therapy, that is the cognitive behavioral talk therapy, of course, and managed to overcome and bounce back 5 months later. So today, I think I always count all the days from the time I made the paradigm shift. So it is 3 years and 4 months from the time I started my recovery journey. And I'm grateful to the Lord for helping me to stand. So, in conclusion, uh, according to my experience, mental health should be taken seriously and then diagnosed, addressed appropriately by a professional before things go haywire. Thank you very much for the opportunity to share, my friend Sarah.
You're welcome, John, and thank you so much for honoring the invitation. We totally appreciate.
Thank you.
And I totally agree with you. One thing with from what I'm picking from your story is that it's better to deal with mental health immediately, like the moment that you start realizing things are not okay. And also it's nice that you had someone around you who knew that something is not okay or things are not okay with you, and they tried to, to address it. So I think we want to encourage our audience that as soon as you realize that things are not okay, please seek help. Please act on it immediately, so that you don't have to get to the places like John is talking about, where now you have gotten into substance abuse. Probably it's now affecting your relationships. It's affecting how you're making your decisions, like you're selling stuff, even things that you need, the things that we call basic needs. Now you have to sell them so that you can try and cope with the situation you're going through. And then don't feel condemned. There are people who can accept you and receive you and offer you help without stigmatizing you. That's what I've picked from your story, John, and I am so honored that you're here with us. Probably you can tell us what you do now, as far as mental health is concerned, and in case you need us to connect with you, you can also share that.
Mm.
But if not, then that's fine.
Yeah, so immediately I got discharged from the rehabilitation center. I opted to dig deep into into this profession, so I joined a counseling course that was still in 2022. So I joined a counseling class, and I will be graduating this year with a diploma in counseling psychology.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah, so health
Congratulations.
wise and mental wise, um, I've prioritized not ignoring any negative feelings. And as you can bear me witness, even with the professionals, let me call myself a professional because I think I'm on my final lap and I've done most of the units. We also need to go for counseling as professionals. So anytime I encounter negative feelings, I engage um, the people who are ahead of me, perhaps for supervision or for counseling sessions, for personal therapy, that is.
Thank you so much, John. That's so insightful, and congratulations in
Thank you.
advance. Yeah, we are
Thank
proud
you.
of you and we welcome you to this side,
You. Thank
tuendelee kusaidia watu. And I hear men say, most of the clients that I've had who are men, they normally tell me, it's good for us to have a counselor who's a man, do why and what. And maybe this is out to any man who is joining the session, and maybe you might not be comfortable to talk to Sarah. John is here, and you can reach out to me, and I'm going to connect you with him in case you need any help, or in case you've gone through what he has talked about and you need help. He's there, and he's a person with lived experience, so he's better suited to help you. So thank you so much, John. Allow me to release you. I understand the schedules and all that, but we really appreciate you for your time, and thank you for sharing your story with us.
Thank you. I'll be joining you perhaps before the end of the session, but I will have to leave.
Okay. Sawa sawa. Asanti sana.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Bye.
Okay, bye. That was that was a nice one, and I really, really appreciate John for just joining us and talking about what he went through. We met in a medical camp, and yeah, that's how I got to understand his story, and I was so excited that he recovered, and now he started thinking of ways to reach out to others, and that's how he took the course. And I'm so proud of the milestones he has covered to get to this place. Now he has talked about stigma, and like I have said before, stigma, yes, it's there, but there's a quote I love saying every time: anywhere you see an original, there's always a counterfeit. What do I mean by that in relation to stigma? There are people who are there to support people who are going through any and all mental health challenges, right? But that doesn't mean that there are people who are not there to support guys going through mental health issues, all right? There are people who are there just to stigmatize, to look down on people, to discourage you, and sometimes, sadly, it's even people in our circles. You can have people in your circles, either in your family or your colleagues or your neighbors or something, and they are encouraging you. They're telling you, Sarah, something is not right with you nowadays. We have noticed this and these changes, and it's unlike you. Could you kindly seek some help? And in that same circle, either in your neighborhood, your family, your church, if you're a church goer, your colleagues, again, there's someone who's telling you, all hope is lost for you. You've come, you mean you do that and that and that? I mean, who does that? And they start bad mouthing you, they start spreading stories about you. So I know there are such situations that there are people who stigmatize others, but then I'd just like to encourage you. Reach out, change your attitude. I normally tell you guys anything to do with mental health is about behavior, feelings, and attitude. And so, like, shift your attitude and tell yourself, I know there might be stigma, but I also know even if there are 10 people who are stigmatizing me, there is one person who can support me. And if I channel my energy and I channel my attitude towards this one person who's going to support me in this journey, then I'm going to get better. And so I am going to choose to focus on that. Is it going to be easy? No. You have to be very intentional. You have to be very intentional that this is a journey I'm willing to take, and I am going to take it come what may. All right. My mom loves to say, come rain or high waters or something. And so, if you purpose, this is a journey I want to take, please take it. Please take it and focus on who's for you. Don't focus so much on who's against you. It's going to bring you down. And you see now, John, as much as he feared that there could be stigmatization and all that, he went back to the same sister who was encouraging him, I mean, and the same sister helped him, and he got the right help, the correct help, and now you can see where he's at. And I am sure he's not done with this mental health journey, and that's why you're hearing him say, even once in a while, us as therapists, him as a therapist now, I believe he has done several other sessions even after he got out of rehab, and he did his session and he started doing a course, and he's working on some other things in life, but still he goes for therapy. I still go for therapy, and we are all in this journey, and therapy is just one of the ways that you can improve your mental health. There are so many other things that you need to do so that you can improve your mental well-being. So I picked that up, and then also he mentioned something. He said that he suffered from major depressive disorder. Don't worry, that might be a big term, but see, we are locked here. Please don't go anywhere. Always come back for the sessions. Always come back for the sessions, and as you come back for the sessions, there is a session that we are going to talk about the mental health disorder that is called major depressive disorder, and we're going to talk about it in details, how to diagnose it, what are its symptoms, and its treatment and management. All right, so please stay locked hapa kwa Sarah Mutsami's page. Yeah, and you're going to learn more about that. And then one other thing he mentioned something about spiritual support. And let me tell you guys, we are psychosocial beings. That means there is a spiritual aspect in each and every one of us. Okay? If you don't worship the God of the Protestants or the God of the Catholics, I know we all say it's the same God, but kidogo, that's a discussion for that other side. But anyway, if you don't worship the God that I worship, there is a God that you are worshiping, because we are psychosocial beings. We have a spiritual aspect in each and every one of us. There is that need for a human being to connect to a spiritual being, and the purpose of a spiritual being mostly is for hope and to help us where we cannot help ourselves, because he is our source. He's the one who knows us. And so for us who worship God and Jesus and all this, we turn to Christ, we turn to God, and he helps us where our human strength is not possible to. I remember I had a session with someone, and he told me, he had a very serious challenge with anger issues. And due to the anger issues, it had costed him two good jobs. And one of it is one international organization that we all know. It costed him that because of anger. And then also it had costed him his family. The wife had left with two of his children. And so I remember during our sessions, he told me, now, I know the sessions have helped me because we had sessions for close to 4 months. Yeah, 4. And he told me, now I've been able to connect to, my spiritual aspect. And I asked him, what do you mean by that? He said, for my kids, I send them to church. But for me, I believe in stoicism. I'm like, stoi what? I did it in school. I did it in campus, and I didn't know there's a religion backing that up. And now he was attributing that his change, as much as therapy was good, that his change has come from his religion, the Stoics, whatever that means. And I told him, I'm glad that you connected to a spiritual being and all that, but we had a discussion around that I'm not going to share here, because that's not what I want to talk about today. The bottom line is, connect to your spiritual being, because that's also a very important part in our mental health journey. You cannot avoid it. I mean, you can't. So my next guest is already here with us. She has been with us since we started, and I was to usher her in at 8:30, and it's 8:31. I don't want to continue yapping. I was just picking up some points from John's story, and now I want us to listen to my next guest. And I really appreciate her for joining and also for her support all through. And without further ado, let me welcome Joy. Karibu sana. She requested not to. Oh, she has. Okay. Her video is on. You can have it on, and then we'll see how it goes. So I don't want to take any more time. You can unmute and just go ahead, introduce yourself, and start from wherever you feel comfortable and talk about whatever you talk about. It's an honor to have you here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I hope you can hear me well.
Yes, yes, I can, and I believe we can.
Okay. So I'm Joy Wanguba. Um, I'm a Kenyan citizen, a mother of one, and yeah, basically that's it. So I'm glad to be here. Uh, Thank you for the invitation. Nashukuru sana.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So today we are talking about mental health. So you asked me a few questions. I don't know if I can remember all of them, but I think my first encounter with mental health was way back. I can't remember when, but I think it was immediately after I became a mom, because there are things I went through that sh- um, that messed my life up, and I felt like I was not okay, and that's the time I got to learn about mental health because I had people talking about kidogo your mental health might not be okay, maybe because of what had happened to me at that particular time. But I didn't pay too much attention because being a new mom was challenging at that point, and I felt I didn't understand. I didn't give too much attention to it. But later on, years later, it's when it hit me what people were saying back then, because these things, mental health, if you don't deal with it, it always finds a way to just pop up, because you can what is it called, you can press it down and
Yeah.
just continue with life and
Ignore.
assume that I'm good, I'm okay, it's just a stage, it's a season I'm passing through, I'll be fine. But it's umeweka at the back of your mind, and it's there, and at one point it's going to just pop up and make you lose it completely. So that time came, and yeah, I lost it. So so that's the time I got to really understand what mental health meant. And I'll not say I worked on it immediately. It took time, but eventually I had to seek help. At least I'm privileged to have a few friends who are in the medic section, and of course you, Sarah. You've been supportive, and my parents, mostly my mom, was there, and my brother. They really, really held me down because it was a bad one. And hiyo kitu people say utaokota makaratasi. Yeah, I saw. I was almost doing that. I was almost going to the streets of my area, Nakuru, and okotting those makaratasi proper, because it had reached to a very bad point where I would scream really bad, scream for no good reason, scream, hit things, throw things. I don't know. I wouldn't even know I'm doing these things. Only later people would tell me, "Do you know ABCD you are doing?" I wish we had a camera to record you so we'd see, because I would say, no, no, I didn't. But then I'd get the flashbacks of what was happening. But later, not at that particular moment. And then I would zone out a lot. You're in the midst of 100 people, maybe even in church, but you can't hear what the pastor is saying. You can't see, or even talking to someone, you're busy, they're talking to you, but you can't hear what they're saying at all. You're lost. You're you're just there somewhere like a limbo. And so that's when mental health really kicked into me. And yeah, God sent people also to my direction to help me walk through that journey to where I am today. Yeah, in a nutshell, that's my story. So as for doing therapy, yes, I've done therapy. Recommended, again, Sarah. She recommended me to a therapist I got in Red Cross. Yeah, Red Cross really helped me. I think I'm one of the few people who talk well about Red Cross therapies. Yeah, because I did uh, a lot of sessions with them. By the time I was doing them, my mental health was bad. I was back to anxiety, and anxiety didn't take me well at all. And then I think I scared my child at some point because of my behavior. And so when I went to seek help, um, mm, those people came through for me very fast, because I think um, by the time I was reaching out to them, they noticed I was not okay, and they took action. At least for me, they really took action and they took care of me. I had like two. They would interchange, and then they would just give me this platform. Call us anytime. Don't wait for a week or 24 hours to be over. So I would have two, one in the evening, one at night, to just check up and ask me questions and take me through that journey, and just help me understand the stage I'm in and what I'm going through, and just help me reconnect with myself to be okay. Also, I was in a lot of self denial because of what was happening to me at that particular time. So I would sit down and think, like, why is life like this? And why are all these things happening to me? Did I do anything wrong? And that saying, African saying, my village people are working. Hey, I had that one too much in my head. I'm like, yeah, my village people, where these people, they are really working.
Over
Because
time.
yeah, hey, whoever is paying them, bana, yeah, they should stop paying them, because I'll lose it. This it's not good. It was not good, because I'm the kind of person who wouldn't think of such. It really never crossed my mind that hiyo kitu people say bad eye or that thing of village people. It never crossed my mind, but at that point where I was in my mental health was all over the place. I was not okay. It was bad. I just thought of that. Hey, the village people. Way. This community is really working against me. So hey, it was bad. But thank God for the sessions I took in Red Cross, because after a while I went back I went back now to normal sessions, because I was talked to a lot, and I was made to do a lot of practical exercises that at the moment they felt like I yeah, it sounds ujinga or something. It sounds lame. It doesn't make sense. But with time, the more you're doing it, you realize it's making you better. Like, for instance, the first thing I remember was being my first session, my first few sessions were to take breathing, just do the breathing exercise. It didn't make sense to me at that point. I'm like, see, I'm breathing. Or like, no, just breathe. And they will just take me through it, and thank God for counselors, because hey, the patience. Because sometimes you don't want to listen. You're like, yeah, so what's this? But I was taken through
And it doesn't
the
make sense.
breathing. It doesn't make sense at all. Like, why are you telling me to say I'm breathing? If I wasn't breathing, I wouldn't be here. But they were patient, and I had to do that. The other thing was connecting with nature. They just told me, just go take a walk, just even if it's 30 minutes, just go take a walk, connect with nature. Even you can remove your shoes, step on the ground. That's another thing that felt a little bit not, it didn't make sense. But well, doing it, yeah, you just connect and you feel okay. It makes sense at all, and it's coming through. And step by step, I found myself getting back to myself. I reconnected back to myself. And the funny thing, I came to know about mental health, or when you're that period when you're lost in your mind, you tend to lose track of time a lot. Like you stay after you getting better, you look back and you're like, wow. So, hey, between this time and this time, what was happening in my life? Because I can't remember anything unless you have people. Like for me, I'm a person who takes a lot of pictures just for the fun of it. Selfies, just photos, and I'll put them there. I'll not do anything. I'll put them there. So like my photo gallery keeps on reminding me memories some years back, some few months back, and I'm like, that was me. Hey, where was I? What was I doing? And kidogo kidogo, you just realize, this is the point where I was not okay, and maybe flashbacks would come, and you just look at the progress from that time to this time, the steps you've been able to take, and it gives you a reason to be thankful to be alive, that it did not go to that mm, next level where you killed yourself completely. Because when you're going through mental health problems, suicidal thoughts tend to be lingering there around you, because you start feeling useless, you start feeling like a person who is not valued, you don't make sense, you don't see what you're adding to this earth. You look around and feel like everyone else is moving forward and you're not. So it's you and the dead people, they're just basically the same. So your time stops completely. It stops, and you're just there physically, but you don't exist. You Yeah, you're there physically, but your health, your mind, it's just somewhere else, just trying to find its way out, or yeah, something like that. So yeah, that has been it. Once in a while, I check in for advices, for therapies. Okay, currently where I'm in, I can't access my therapist very easy where I am, but I try to talk to at least someone confidential that I know who will help me without taking the emotions, without they put the differences aside and be like, let's focus on you, let's focus on this, let's focus on this issue on the table. And they help me a lot. It has not also been easy, but I thank God for this far. So getting back to normal, I don't know if people usually get back to normal. What I know is that, or what I've learned through my journey, is the back and forth. The back and forth. One, like a few days you're good, and the other days you're just like almost bouncing down, you're bouncing back, you're taking steps back. But the key thing is to just continue working, be aware, let people in, let your therapist know what you're going through. Just talk to them, or talk to someone you know who can help you walk through that journey, because you can't do it on your own. My dad always says no man is an island. Before, it never made sense to me why he would say that, but at this point in life, I came to realize that it's true. You can't do this journey on your own. There's a reason as to why God, when after he created everything and created Adam, he saw he was lonely and he added the woman, hata kama alimfanya ile kitu, but he saw he was lonely. So that clearly means that you cannot, in this world of all these people, you cannot do it by yourself. You need people around. You need to talk to someone. If you're a person who reads, read, learn. There are people who do self-therapy. I don't know if that one works. You can tell us, Sarah, if that one works. But they you see someone and YouTube, they watch you, you and other therapists, and they get to learn these things, and they get to meditate, and they get to walk the journey through that. So if that one works for you, okay. If reading about mental health helps, also do the same. If you can combine, the better. Actually, seeing your own therapist and doing that, following, listening to other people's story, and doing the YouTube thing, if that works for you, or reading, you can combine if you can, or you can do one at a time, whatever works. For me, um, a personal therapist works for me, and also going to see, following YouTube stories about people who've gone through these things, or even worse, because there are others who've gone through worse. There are others who have really attempted even the suicide. And you find, when you listen to such things, to such stories, you come to realize that, first of all, you get to know you're not alone. Second, you get encouraged, and you purpose to get better. Yeah. So thank you. If maybe you have any other question, you can ask. I'll appreciate.
Oh, thank you so much, Joy. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Ebu, tell us, how many years was this journey? Like, just kidogo, how many years has it been to now?
I think
From which year?
from 2016, when
Hmm,
people actually started saying that I'm not okay. 2016, when I got my child, my daughter.
thank
2016.
you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Now,
yeah.
you can imagine that timeline. Mental health, this journey is not at you'll just sleep and wake up and everything is back to normal. It cannot be.
No.
And
Mm-mm,
like you've said, there is nothing like normal. We cannot talk about normal
mm-mm,
because I remember after COVID, we were told now it's time to adjust to the new normal because there are things we thought they were normal and now they are no longer normal. Like there's a new normal. And even to everything to do with mental health, I believe uh, there's something called a new normal because things might not go back to the way they used to be. And also something that you've mentioned, and I believe it's very important for us to understand, is that there are some things we normally call underlying factors. The underlying factors, the issues that can, you know, for you it was you gave birth to your daughter, and things probably never went back to the same way they used to be. So even by the time you're getting these anxiety attacks and all that, we cannot just come and start treating the anxiety attacks. This thing has an onset, and we have to look at the onset and deal with it, because if we don't, bado kutakuwa tu na shida. Bado the problem might become recurring, and therefore it's very important for us guys to understand that when we are dealing with mental health issues, we have to look back at our underlying factors. And I remember when we had the guest who talked about ADHD, and also the guest who talked about childhood traumas, they both mentioned something about underlying factors. So even when we are dealing with these mental health conditions, for you, you've mentioned anxiety, John mentioned about depression or MDD, like there are underlying factors and we cannot ignore them. And then number two, it's the time factor. It's not an easy journey. You said you're not yet there. You still have to work on yourself. You still have to look for ways to continue with therapy, because that's among the things that work for you. And it's not just therapy, guys. When we are talking about taking care of our mental health, it's not just therapy. She has talked about relaxation techniques, especially for people with anxiety. That thing and panic disorders, relaxation techniques is it, because most of the time the challenges that they get is because they are not relaxed, and so we have to look for a way to make them relax. And this exercise of breathing in and out, counting backwards, and blah blah blah, those are some of the things that we do so that it can help them to relax. And even ourselves, anytime Because now, when we're talking about anxiety, which again, see, I've told you guys to stay tuned, stay locked. We are going to talk about anxiety, and there is general anxiety disorder, there is social anxiety, and then also there is panic disorder. And for all these things, if you're not in social anxiety, trust you me, you're in general anxiety. Once in a while, we all encounter something like that. Almost every day, there's something called general anxiety. Like today, I was somewhere and I was interacting with some people, and trust you me, I had some general anxiety, and I needed to exercise some of these techniques that we are talking about here. So yeah, so some of these techniques, they are not just we are not just talking about therapy. There are so many other things that we talk. There are so many other things that we talk about, and I talked about them in our first session that we did in 2024 in January. We talked about some of the techniques that we can use to boost our mental well-being. And amongst the things that Joy has mentioned, the other day I was listening to someone and she was talking about earthing. And she was saying, you see the way the electricians, when they come, for instance, if you use a hot shower, this instant shower for the bathrooms, there's something that's normally called an earth. And things to do with these cables, the electricity. So they normally say, they put earthing. Why is it important? And she said, as important as it is for Mambo to do with electricity, it is also important for us to do earthing. And earthing is what Joy has been talking about, walking on the ground barefoot. You might think it's nothing, but it is very necessary for us to connect to nature. And God, when He created the earth, He knew it's important, and that's why He kept it in place. And some of us have insecurities, we have our perfectionism and all that. And it is very important for us to put that aside, as long as it's something that is going to help us with our mental health. Another thing she has mentioned is maybe about resources. And I'll tell you guys this for free. Resources are there, like so much. There's just so much. Nowadays, there's even music around mental health. I mean, we have no reason to be ignorant with our mental health. People are composing music, people are composing poems and spoken words and articles and webinars such as what we are having today. There are podcasts there. Like there's just so much that can help you. As you're listening to it, you're becoming aware, and it is also helping you to put some of these things to action, so don't be ignorant and don't be arrogant, like yours truly. There's a post that I've just shared, and I'll share in the rest of my of my handles, and I'm talking about how I know so much, not everything, but at least I know a lot about mental health. But how much of that am I actually putting to practice? How much of that am I actualizing? And I believe that's the question that we should ask ourselves as we are connecting to these resources and we are getting this information. Are we putting it to practice, or tunasikiza tu kupass time? The same way I love talking about how nowadays, if you talk to a young person, wow, almost all of us, we know about MMF, we know about BSM bonds, we know about these places, cryptos and bitcoins and all that, these platforms for investing, we know. But how many of us are actually doing it, either consistently, or how many of us are doing it, consistently? How many of us are really doing it? Or we are just talking about it so that uskai mshamba, uskai haujui, but there's nothing you're doing about it. So, and you need to develop the discipline. For everything, you just have to develop the discipline. And mental health is not exempted. We need to develop the discipline. Joy has talked about the many sessions she had. John has also mentioned of how he had many sessions. And yeah, I believe that it takes a lot of discipline and consistency for us to keep up with sessions, to keep up with even e-session yenye we normally have here together. It takes a lot of discipline and intentionality. And then also something else that I've picked from Joy's story is relationships. Relationships are affected. She has mentioned of how relationship with her daughter now, there was an issue, because her not being okay, it also affected her daughter. And also something else that I can tell you, it also affected her physical health, right? Yeah, it affected her physical health. And I normally tell you guys, mental health, physical health, zinaendana hivi. When your mental health is not
Same.
okay, yes,
Mm.
your physical health will take a toll. When your physical health is not okay, your mental health will not be okay. They they work together hand in hand. So you need to take care of both. Take care of your mental health so that you avoid physical health challenges. Okay. And there are so many other lessons that I could pick from Joy. What I'd encourage us, please share this session with as many people as possible. And as much as May inaisha kesho, we don't need to stop this conversation. I hope, not for my good, not for my platform, Aki, I tell you guys, and I tell you from my heart, the main reason why I do this is just because I have realized how it's important for us to talk about these things, and how it's important for us to help each other, to build a community that we are going to support each other to have good mental health. Because if we ignore it, it's going to catch up with us. And so when I tell you guys to share this link with as many people as possible, you don't know who you might be helping. And even if it's another person who's talking about mental health, please share that link. Just share. It's not about Sarah. It's not about her growth. Definitely, that might be one of the benefits, but my main aim is just to reach out to impact as many lives as possible with this conversation, because I believe I am in that space for a reason. Okay. And so I'd want us to continue with this conversation. You can share this link with your friends and loved ones. And in the chat box, us guys can talk about our mental health journey. Joy and John have just shared. Hey, Joy and John, all right. They just shared their journeys with us. I have my journey. You have your journey. Someone else has their journey. And I believe it will be very impactful for us to talk, to have this conversation going. Okay. So if you've not shared here, you can share in the chat box of this YouTube page, or you can share in my social media platforms, right? There's the video that I sent for the invite, and there are others that I'll send after this. You can share your journeys with us. For me, I've told you guys, I've known so much about mental health, but I've not been able to actualize everything, right? I've not been able to actualize everything. There might be reasons around it, probably ignorance, the way I've said, probably lack of intentionality and discipline, but sometimes lack of, that, how will I put it, that zeal and energy just to work on these things, because it's not easy. Guy, it's not easy. For instance, I know the importance of exercising. Then you look at your schedule and you're being told you have to create time to exercise, you know, because as you exercise, there are chemicals that are released from the brain, and they're going to help you, and help your mental well-being. But then I'm looking at my schedules, I'm looking at the time, I'm looking at the responsibilities that I have. I'm thinking, what time will I be able to exercise? I'm not saying that I don't exercise. Exercising can be running, it can be walking, it can be blah, 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 everything. But I'm just giving an example, and I'm saying there are so many things that we can do and we fail to do because of various reasons. Some of us, maybe we really need therapy. Even if we put to practice all these other things that we have shared here, but still we need therapy. But then we lack the resources. You can be having free therapy sessions. Like me, there are clients who come to me, and I totally understand their economic status, and I'm willing to help them. But even just to connect through that phone call, probably they don't have a good phone or something, or they don't have the internet, and that's also a barrier to our good mental health. But then I'm saying, let's not focus so much on things not going right. Let us look for the little things that we can do to make sure that we are working towards our good mental health. I could yap and yap and yap, but unfortunately, my time is up, and I want to thank each one of you again for logging in tonight. And I would like to request you to continue sharing this link with your friends and loved ones. And then also, let's continue talking about our mental health journey. When did you first when did you first hear about mental health? Have you ever suffered from any mental health issue or challenge? Like me last year, out of nowhere, by the way, I've never shared this with anyone, but out of nowhere, I was having suicidal thoughts. Can you imagine? Like out of nowhere. And I just recorded a video. Luckily, Joy has talked about her. She's a photo person. She takes videos and all that and photos. Me, I don't. But I'm glad that in this one I took. Because in my head, I had very nasty thoughts. And I don't know where that thought came from. And it became consistent for a while. And I had to take action because I realized this is not me. I have never been suicidal in my life. I have never even understood why people are suicidal. And I don't know why I got there. And so I was saying, you can talk about if you've had any mental health challenge. And then you can also tell us in your journey to mental health, where are you at? Because tumesema hii journey haiishi. We are on it forever and always. Tutaendelea tu na hii safari pole pole, tukiendelea kukua better and better every day. The goal is not a destination, no. The goal is progress. And even one single step matters. If you're just going to be taking one step in a full year, then that's okay. As long as you're not stagnating and you're not retrogressing. Like Joya said, sometimes you find yourself umerudi nyuma. And sometimes for some of us tunajipata tumemark time. But that's not what we want. We just want progress, okay? And if the progress will be one step in 5 years, then that's fine. You've made a step, and that's what matters, okay? So those are the 3 things that I want us to talk about. When did you first hear about mental health? Have you ever had any mental health challenge? Did you get help? Was the help adequate? Okay. And then also, where are you in this mental health journey? Okay. And that will do. That will do. So thank you again to my guests, Joy and John. Thank you so much for coming out here and sharing your stories. We totally appreciate you guys. We really, really appreciate. And then also, thank you to my audience. Thank you for logging in tonight. May God bless you for your support and for taking the time to just join. And I hope you've learned 1 or 2 things. In case you have any question, please reach out. I always respond. So please reach out. You can ask here on YouTube, or you can ask in any of my platforms, or you can inbox me, and I'm going to respond to you. Well, that being said, kwaherini. Ninaharakisha so that I don't waste people's time. Oh, please remember to follow me in all the social media platforms, okay? All of them, Sarah Mutsami. You'll just find me. But in Facebook, it's Sarah Muhadia Mutsami. So go to Instagram, go to TikTok, go to LinkedIn, go to Facebook, go to YouTube. Ni Threads tu siko na nini ingine na X. Hizo tutagrow msijali. Haya, wakati mwema, kwaherini.